Everyone, my name is Azhar, and I will be talking about our work, Learn to Bind and Grow. Our work deals with the problem of continual learning. Continual learning deals with algorithms capable of learning from a continuous stream of information, with such information becoming progressively available over time without forgetting any previously acquired knowledge. Continual learning is essential for human-like intelligence with the added benefit of reducing training times for deep learning models. Current deep learning methods are prone to forgetting. When training on samples of a new task, information on previously learned tasks is lost. This loss in information is due to conflicting objectives of the task that is currently being learned and the tasks already learned. This phenomenon is named catastrophic forgetting and is a hard problem that has been well studied in the DL literature. Broadly, there are two approaches to continual learning. Implicit methods like regularization and experience replay restrict changes in network parameters to prevent forgetting. Explicit methods like dynamic network expansion prevent forgetting of old tasks by increasing network capacity to accommodate new tasks. Explicit methods have to be wary of the problem of exploring number of model parameters during training. We tackle this problem by dynamically growing an optimal neural architecture with expansion constrained by task and layer similarity. To reiterate, our problem is to learn multiple tasks incrementally. For example, if we have a 10 if we have 10 classification tasks, we could build independent models for each task as shown on the right. But then these tasks might have some similar layer functionalities that can be leveraged to make and build a much more compact and powerful model. So, how do we go about building a single shared model for multiple tasks in an incremental fashion? Our method Learn to Bind and Grow addresses this question. The main components of our method is a joint task network shown in the right, containing subnetworks for each task having the same backbone structure. Here the subscript denotes layer index and the superscript denotes tasks sharing that layer instance. The O blocks are the task specific heads. When a new task is encountered, we have to bind onto layers of a previous task. Deciding on which layers to bind and expand is not trivial due to the number of task and layer binding combinations. This problem is handled by our proposed hierarchical conflict model. Finally, we make use of Bayesian optimization to find globally optimal solutions. Here is an illustration of how our method works. We have an initial joint network where task 1 and task 2 have their own layer 1 and layer 3 instances but share layer 2. Each new task goes through a growth sequence. The first step in the growth sequence is the bind phase. The new task binds to the subnetwork of a similar task based on an aggregated layer similarity score calculated by our conflict model. In this example, task 3 picks task 2 and its layers to bind with. In the growth step, based on the layer-wise conflict scores outputted by our conflict model, we estimate which layers are more likely to interfere and expand them. Here, layer 2 remains shared with task 2, while layer 3 and 1 are expanded for task 3. In the next step, the new task is retrained, and in the final step, the entire joint network is updated with the new blocks that have been created. Next, we see how to compute conflict scores. On the new task data, we train an independent model M with the same backbone as the joint network, but with a new task head. 500 images are sampled from the new task data and passed through both the model M and an existing subtask network to collect post-activations at each layer. Correlation scores between pairwise post-activations of each layer for every sample are computed and fed into the RSA algorithm to estimate layer dissimilarity scores. RSA, also known as representation similarity analysis, is a technique used to find correlation between neuronal responses from brain data and computational models. The layer dissimilarity scores are aggregated into a layer conflict vector and its norm is calculated. The new task binds to a subnetwork with the lowest norm score. Norm over here represents the distance between the tasks in the task space. Over here is an example of how RSA, representational similarity analysis, is used to calculate dissimilarity score for one layer. RSA uses the correlation scores computed in the previous step to populate a representational dissimilarity matrix as shown over here for each model, that is the independent model and the subnetwork. Each element of the matrix is 1 minus the Pearson correlation between image representations generated at layer L corresponding to that cell. Finally, Spearman correlation is used to find the dissimilarity score between the two RDMs and hence the dissimilarity between the two networks or slash layers at that or task at that layer. Next, we move on to layer expansion. Once we've computed the layer conflict scores, we normalize them to a value between 0 and 1 and convert it to a probability distribution over the layers. We then define a growth coefficient, which is a parameter that controls the layer expansion. Given a growth coefficient, we first compute a nucleus under the cumulative probability distribution over layers. This is constrained by the growth coefficient and expand all the layers present in the nucleus. So given the distribution over the layers, we first add layer 3 to the nucleus and then add layer 1 to the nucleus. Once we add these two layers to the nucleus, its density exceeds the delta value and we stop the process of adding layers to the nucleus and expand all the layers present in the nucleus. It is important to note that we use the layer as the basic unit of expansion. We can partition a layer into subcomponents, example, groups of channels, and grow one or more groups in each grow step. The notation of the notion of a conflict distribution extends and applies to any well-defined hierarchical partition of the network structure. Next, we look at Bayesian optimization. There are two objectives at play in our method: maximizing average gain and minimizing parameter count of the joint network. This begs the question, is there a sweet spot where we can minimize parameters and not lose performance? In fact, are there multiple sweet spots, also called Pareto optimal points? To find these Pareto optimal points, we perform global Bayesian optimization over the growth sequences. The growth sequence is a collection of the identifiers of the new task, the bound task, and the growth coefficient. Using Bayesian optimization, we optimize a black box function which maps a growth sequence to a pair of outputs. That is, an updated joint models average gain and parameter count. Bayesian optimization allows us to explore the global space of size performance trade-offs which other expansion methods do not do. We now move on to our experiments and results. We use a permitted MNIST dataset, which has 10 classification tasks generated by applying 10 unique fixed permutations to the MNIST dataset. Split CFAR, which is this the CFAR 100 dataset split into 10 10-way classification tasks, and VDD, which is the visual decathlon dataset. We use average accuracy, which is the mean of accuracies on the new task and previously learned tasks as our first metric. However, average accuracy does not give the full picture, as later task accuracies may dominate and greatly skew the average accuracy metric. So we use the average gain metric, which is defined as the mean change in accuracies of new and previously learned tasks with respect to their single task baseline accuracy. Over here, we have average accuracy plots on top and average gain plots on the bottom for all of our data sets. We see that the average accuracy uh, plots are constant for permuted and CFAR, split CFAR 100 data sets, and the average gain is mostly positive. But there is a variation in the VDD curves. This can be attributed to the task data imbalance in the data set. Next, we run a random growth experiment where we arbitrarily grow the joint network by randomly picking tasks to pair with and randomly expanding layers. This yields a model with high negative average gains when compared to the model found by our method that has positive gains throughout. This further provides evidence that a representation-based similarity metric helps in finding the right binding and right structure. Next, we evaluate three retention strategies like freezing the shared network weights or fine-tuning the weights with a high LR and fine-tuning the weights with a low LR, and observe that freezing restricts learning on previous tasks, while fine-tuning might lead to undesirable forgetting. And finally, the slow LR is the best and enables learning with very minimum forgetting. For future work, we would also like to use other regularization methods in our approach. We now compare our method with other dynamic expansion based methods. We make the comparison using average task accuracy and the total model parameter count. As can be seen from the graph, our model performs comparably with methods both in average task accuracy and total parameter count. Different representational similarity approaches may help improve our method's performance. We now explore the performance size trade-off space on the split CFAR 100 dataset in this graph. We observe that, in general, higher growth coefficient values leads to networks with higher performance and more parameters, therefore less sharing. Interestingly, there are notable exceptions. We obtain the most performant network with growth coefficient set to 0.8. The network with growth coefficient set to 0.95 performs comparably but has twice the number of parameters. The first network is Pareto optimal. We employ the use of Bayesian optimization to explore the performance size space efficiently and find us models that are Pareto optimal. The square points represent Pareto optimal models and have better performance size trade-offs than the other points shown here. In conclusion, we present a new framework for task incremental learning, which learns to expand a joint network for multiple tasks dynamically based on exploiting task similarity by binding an incoming task with the network of an existing similar task, grow the layers relative to similar tasks by estimating a hierarchical conflict distribution between the layers of the similar and new task. Experiments on benchmark continuous learning datasets show our method works well and is competitive with other expansion-based methods. For future work, we would like to investigate other representation similarity techniques, enable expansion for non-symmetrical task networks, and add different features like layer adaptation. Thank you, and we will take any questions now.